talking to a woman who I think you're the most enthusiastic person about reading in libraries that I've ever met, Rachel Freed.
How could you not be excited? There's so much great stuff at libraries and with books.
And I love your edge and your sarcasm. It's awesome. I think you should start the video podcast.
I think we should.
I think you should. It'd be a huge hit. So take me through, these are Rachel's picks for kids' books.
These are Rachel's picks for the summer. My first pick for the summer is a wordless picture book called Flora and the Flamingo. It's all done in pink, and it's the tale of this little girl who wants to be graceful like this flamingo, and the flamingo's not really having it. So it's got these great pull-down flaps as we work through their very graceful movements to a really funny climax and ending.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil it for you.
You spoiler, you. And take me to the next one. And the next one could be, because I have boys, so I don't know if they would, like the pink book.
Flora and the Flamingo is great for the little girls in your life, anyone who loves the color pink, anyone who loves dance. But The Dark is the next book. I think it's a little bit more of a boy book, but anyone can relate to it. It's the newest work by Lemony Snicket. He partnered with this year's Caldecott Award winner John Klassen to write a book about what it's like to be scared of the dark. And it's just got this wonderful use of light and dark. And there's this little boy, Laszlo, and he's so scared of the dark, but the dark lives in his basement. So he sort of has to confront his fears.
And we all can relate to that, confronting our fears.
We surely can. Yeah.
And the next author?
The next author is Claire Vanderpool. She wrote the Newbery Award-winning book Moon Over Manifest. This is her latest work. It came out this January. It's very lyrical. It's for an older audience, maybe your 10 to 12s. It's about this young boy who's lost his mom, and he goes to a private school in Maine where he meets a very odd character named Early Auden, who is obsessed with the number pi, 3.14.
Okay.
And he's convinced that pi tells a story. And they head off on this journey of their own down a river in Maine during the summer. It's very Huckleberry Finn meets the Odyssey.
I love all your descriptions. This is great. And the last one?
The last one is The Escape from Mr. Lemoncello's Library. Oh. So this town hasn't had a library for 12 years, and this very famous game designer has designed the brand new town library. It's got state-of-the-art everything. And 12 children win a lock-in at the library on its very first night. What they don't know is that they're locked in for the next 2 days, and they have to solve the clues and the puzzles and the riddles hidden in the building to get out. And then it's sort of like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. They win a year's worth of games, and they win the right to be the face of Mr. Limoncello's games.
They're all, that one especially is teaching kids to love the library and celebrate a library because it could leave.
That book really loves the library, for sure.
Did you ever see the movie Book of Eli?
I never
with
did.
Denzel Washington.
No.
Because I always think of when I talk about libraries and books, and that's why I love that you're so excited. The whole book premise is that in the future, books will be, precious because we're all going to computers and everything. And then the war happens, and you lose all the books. So you would love that movie. I know it's a terrible thought.
I don't know if I could do that.
But I think about books and libraries, and I think there's something about taking your kid there. And of course, you think about growing up and your grandmother or parent taking you. But why is it important to take your child to the library and to read to them and read with them to a young child?
I think the bond between parent and child, or any kind of caretaker, be it a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, when you read with a child or to a child, you really create this warm, safe space where you're sharing something together. You can watch TV together, but let's be honest, you're not really interacting. But with a book, there's the opportunity to ask questions, to share the same experience. And I think it's something that you don't get doing almost anything else.
I agree. And Buddy, our rescue dog that everybody here on the show has met Buddy, he's been on the show, but we read to him too. One time he chewed a book. But you actually have a program that includes dogs, right? That the kids can read to the dogs. Why do you do that?
Learning to read is sometimes a challenging process, especially reading out loud. It can be off-putting for children who have, say, a stutter or who are just nervous. So the West Philadelphia Regional Library at 52nd and Sansom has sort of pioneered this program that other libraries are beginning to replicate, where we have 2 therapy dogs who come in.
And they're very good listeners.
And they're very good listeners, and the children get to read to them, and the dogs just love them unconditionally. There's no judgment, and the kids have this really affirming experience with someone who just it's just there for them.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
And you have some before school, after school programming and summer programs?
Yeah, we have some after school programming. It starts up again in September and runs through June. It's the LEAP after school activities. It's Monday through Thursday from 3 to 5, depending on how late the library is open. We have an after school leader who shares books. They do crafts based on the books. We have teen leadership assistants who help with homework help. It's great. It's especially for the kids who English might not be their first language,
Right.
or they have parents for whom English is still a challenge. It's someone to help them out with their homework and consistently provide feedback and knowledge that maybe they wouldn't get elsewhere.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Rachel, I love picking your brains. Thank
Do
you.
it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Our conversation continues right after this here on The Dawn Show.